PPP2 shifted the definition of who's eligible. Now we're no longer looking at any small business concern, it's just any business concern. And that's a completely different definition than the small business concern one. So those alternative tests that were afforded for entities in PPP1 are no longer available for those same entities in PPP2. So for PPP2, it almost becomes like a bright line test. It's entities who do not employ more than 300 employees, and pretty much that's the test. Anybody who's smaller qualifies. Anybody who's larger does not qualify. Employee headcount is measured on an affiliated basis. So if you are an owner of multiple businesses, you would have to look at all of those combined to see if the 300 employee headcount is met on a combined basis. If it's not, then all of those entities are no longer eligible. If it is, then they are. It's a 25% reduction in gross receipts in any calendar quarter compared to the same calendar quarter of 2019. We have slides on gross receipts, and we're gonna have a deeper conversation on this particular test and how it's met. But you have to at least move 25% on any calendar quarter compared to the same one if you were in business in all of 2019. If you were not in business in all of 2019, there's some special rules of what you benchmark against that we'll get into in a minute. But also, there's going to be some availability to do this on an annual basis as well. So PPP1 and PPP2 are still available for entities who are sole proprietors or any independent contractors, self-employed, that are going for this loan. They've clarified that essentially a business had to be operating as of February 15th, 2020 to qualify for either of these loans. That kind of was the rule for one, but it wasn't as clear. This just further clarifies it. The entity cannot have permanently closed since, so it will need to still be remaining in business in order for it to qualify. And Mike kind of alluded to this a little earlier. You have had to have received a PPP1 loan in order for you to apply to PPP2, and you have to, at least if you haven't filed for forgiveness, which is not a requirement, you have to at least be able to prove that you've used the funds from PPP1 by the time you get your PPP2 loan. So you have to be able to at least say, I've consumed my PPP1. This, I think, is more relevant for those who are applying for PPP1 now. Many of the companies, because the first window closed in August for the first round. By now, most of those recipients can easily demonstrate that they've used the money, but this is kind of to prevent somebody from going in for a PPP1 and then a week later applying for a PPP2 immediately after that. They say, hey, you got to use the money first, then you can go in for PPP2. And the window is only open to March 31st, 2021. So this will be a quick turnaround.